Why is Bitcoin skyrocketing out of nowhere? What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions, and I want a big thank you to every person that thinks that all I ever do is talk shit on Bitcoin and never talk about any of the pauses, because this one's for you. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I just like to talk about the why. Why is the market doing what it's doing? If Bitcoin is overbought and I think that it's going to sell off, I like to explain my why. Today, out of nowhere, we began to see Bitcoin from lows of 94, which was kind of sketchy because if Bitcoin broke below 90,000, it could have gotten really bad. But then all of a sudden from 94,000, almost 95,000, it found its support. Not even that. It just began to skyrocket. Broke above the moving average, broke above the EMA, higher highs, higher lows, and ended up hitting, dude, it's pretty much at 100,000. That's the crazy part, that it could go from 94 to almost 100K, but not break above it, right? What's those $800 difference, right? And if it breaks 100,000, which again, if you're asking me that question, yes, I do think that it could break 100,000. All it needs is momentum. I don't think BTC is so much based off of, something else has to happen. I think what happened today, you can agree to disagree on if you agree with it. I'm just here to relay the message on why. Today, Jerome Powell, who's the head of the Federal Reserve, for those that do not know who that is, it's this gentleman right here. I actually think he's pretty good at his job. He's the one that raises or cuts interest rates. And he went on a kind of like Fed meeting today and pretty much had a conversation with, if you guys remember the last time, it was very notorious. I think it was last year where Elon Musk said, "Go F yourself." It was kind of like on that same platform where now Jerome was speaking to the same gentleman. And he pretty much stated that Bitcoin is not a competitor for the dollar. It's really a competitor for gold. That comment alone just showcases how valuable Jerome Powell's word is. I've said this many times on my channel. I think that Jerome Powell and what he says about our current economy, or really anything when it comes down to monetary policy, is more influential than, in my opinion, than the President of the United States and almost everyone else. Jerome Powell is in charge of monetary policy. So he is the reason why interest rates are high. He would be the reason on why interest rates are low. It's based off of how the Federal Reserve decides to raise or cut interest rates. And he said, when asked the question of, at an event Wednesday, Federal Reserve Jerome Powell called Bitcoin not a rival to the US dollar, but rather to gold. Though not in the sense that BTC is similar, being at a store of value, but Bitcoin is not a competitor for the dollar. It is really a competitor for gold. Powell said in a sit-in interview with the journalist Andrew Ross Sorkin at the New York Times Deal Book Summit in New York. So pretty much just by him stating that, hey, Bitcoin is not competing with the dollar, but to have such a high authority individual, what do we want to call it? Validate Bitcoin that no, it's not a competitor to the dollar, but it almost legitimizes it a little bit more and establishing it as a competitor for gold. And to have someone recognize Bitcoin as that, it is pretty wild. It adds another layer of credibility in the wildest way. And this is why I'm making this video, because I want you guys to understand the why. It is because of what he said and who he is and the value behind it. This is Jerome Powell. It's not just words that were taken from some random, analyst or maybe an investor. It's Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve of the United States. He's one of the most influential individuals when it comes down to monetary policy, if not the most influential individual. And for him to recognize Bitcoin as a competitor for gold, yes, regardless if I choose to support it or not. Again, you guys know that I love talking my crap, but I will always support something if it actually has a valid why. And I 100% see why Bitcoin skyrocketed. What is this, like 5%, 6% from lows of 94,000, 95,000 almost, to highs of 9,927, a 4.7% move. And it's $800 away from breaking 100,000, just because one very powerful and influential man validated Bitcoin as a competitor for gold. That's it. Nothing else to it. It's not maybe he didn't mean it or maybe he goes back on it. Just by him saying it, this is how the market reacted. And it doesn't surprise me. I've seen many less or worse reasons on why Bitcoin reacts the way that it does. This actually makes a little bit more sense to me. Do I have to agree with it? It doesn't matter what you think or what I think. It's how the market's reacting. And to me, this is the why. And it does kind of make sense. Do I think it's going to be a catalyst that holds at those levels? No, not necessarily. You just have to hope that that hype and momentum continues until tomorrow, because if the hype fades or anything kind of negative happens, then it could begin to retrace, or when the hype begins to, fade, then BTC will most likely retrace as well. And anything that is influenced by Bitcoin on the way up is most likely up as well after market hours, after this news was released. I just wanted to come in here, and of course, you guys know that I often talk crap about it, but I wanted to give you guys credit where it was due, and hopefully I do my part in spreading awareness on the why. And that's the whole reason that I was here. I hope that earned a thumbs up. I hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. And again, if you want to tune on into my live trading, I trade live every single morning. Second link in the description down below, and you can join for as little as $1 a day and watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.